Hey guys. How annoying is this? Well, we're not alone. I'll tell you that right now. Um, I was over on Twitter X just searching StreamYard and yeah, I mean there's it's a system wide something called Cloudflare, which I guess all these big companies use, and they're having some issues. So um, we're not alone. And keep trying to refresh the account over here at StreamYard. That's doing nothing. So, yeah, this is, like I said before, I guess this is not an exact science, this internet thing. That's all right. That's okay. It's funny. It's ironic a little bit because in the introduction today, I was going to say, look, there's a chance that we'll maybe get dropped with the connection because man, we've had some serious weather here in the California desert. Serious meaning not unusual, but today's forecast is 108. Last couple of days it was 110. I think this weekend, Sunday, like 114, 115. It's some nasty stuff. So, when we get some severe heat here in the desert, lots of times we get that internet just goes, this is too much, man. I'm just gonna type something into the chat area. Yeah. So there you go. All right. See, we're getting some folks on. Yeah, just go ahead to the chat if you can see it. And what's this thing here? Live chat. Okay, there we go. Yeah, let me know who you are. Let me know who's on. Hey, Larry. Yeah, well, not all good now because I don't think I can make my presentation. I've got a keynote presentation that I mean, Major Dan, good to see you. But yeah, I think we're just gonna have to reschedule for tomorrow. Hope I know it won't work out for everybody, but worst case is we go on with just a few folks tomorrow, or if we get StreamYard magically comes up in the next 10, 15, 30 minutes. Maybe what we'll do is just like 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Eastern. We'll go then. Hey, Rich and Giovanni from Boca Raton. Guys, thanks for hanging out with me. I really appreciate you getting on to these workshops. I just love doing this stuff. Absolutely love it. And in terms of doing it live, there is some scripting in terms of the keynote presentation, which helps me stay focused so I don't forget anything. One thing I've been thinking about that I was going to actually update the keynote presentation with today, something to think about, and that I will update that keynote. It just kind of came to me today, but and I used to make this mistake where when we go out and practice, let's say we're in a drill situation, what I find a lot that happens is we're drilling in a way as if our A+ game is always going to show up in the matches, right? And I mean the whole topic today is how do you take your practice feeling of feeling that comfortable and then taking it over to the real deal, whether it's a tournament match or a league match or maybe just a really serious match. But what happens is too often is we practice in a way as if that's our A+ game, right? And so then when we go to play the match, we kind of assume, well, I got to bring my A+ game because that's the way I just practiced all week. And the reality is when we play matches that the so-called zone, the thing about the zone is that, to really play well, you've got to get yourself into the zone. And the reality is most matches, at least in my experience, and I think that a lot of the top players would kind of echo this as well, is that most matches, there's a couple of terms I use. Number one, it's not a beauty contest, right? We're not out there in the zone 100% of the time, hitting dingers here, dingers over there, just blindfoldly, just kind of wildly playing out of our minds. That is so rare, first of all, for a whole match, but also for like an entire set. I mean, maybe for 15 or 20 minutes, you kind of drop into this feeling and it's great. But the reality is we just don't play at our current A plus level. Um, and in the league stuff or the tournament stuff. And so I think what happens is we practice too much as if we're going to, and most matches are won with what I call workarounds, right? It's like you're just sort of going out there and you're figuring out, number one, well, what does this opponent really hope that I give them? All right, well, all week you might have practiced in a way that now all of a sudden you're just giving that guy exactly what they want. Okay, well, so now are you going to just go, well, I've just got to play better. I've got to take my A plus game to A plus plus. All right, well, we know that that doesn't work. So the reality is that most matches are not a beauty contest. That's okay. We manage the mediocre really well. Top players do that. And yeah, so I just think that it's just a thought I had today, and I'm curious kind of what you think about it as well. But I just think too often, and I've done this where we go out and we set up these drills, and these drills are as if we're trying to hit that A plus plus dinger up the line, threading the needle, and we just work it and work it and work it. And we're 1 out of 17. The other 16, half of them would go wide, and maybe another half kind of actually stay inside the court, or maybe some of them go deep. And yet we work. Maybe now we go, 2 for 30. I don't know, but I think you get my point here is that we need to practice a lot more in terms of what's reality in our matches. And reality in our matches is that if we're going to manage the mediocre, if it's and what is a beauty contest? A beauty contest is just hitting winners? No, a beauty contest to me would be I've got high quality swings coming through contact, and I'm going to large parts of the court. And if you do that on a consistent level, man, you're going to, first of all, like we talked about last week, you're going to make way fewer unforced errors. And that in itself right there is a winning combination, especially against same skill levels where you're at right now. You start doing that, you're going to start going from, let's say 50-50 as a winning percentage. You're going to quickly move to 60-40, and you continue to do that, and you start to move to 70-30. Now all of a sudden, because you're at 70-30 in terms of winning those matches against same skill level or former skill level opponents, my God, man, I mean, now you're building this level of confidence, and you are now moving up to whatever that next rating label is, or whatever that little nuanced skill level is up there. So the point I want to make, and then I'm going to make when I change the keynote, is that we got to practice more high quality swings to big targets. We got to practice less really big swings to tiny little targets, as if we are going to master that and be able to somehow magically make that out or make that happen in matches. So that's something that I've been thinking about today. And I think that, a lot of that is when we get into matches, we feel, we just feel a little less relaxed. We feel, a lot more uncomfortable. And all of that feeling less relaxed and more uncomfortable works its way into, what? I got to go for it. I got to go more, because I don't trust myself staying in the point long enough to where I've really got the lower 40, could be up the line, could be cross court or wherever, or the lower 40 in terms of a drop shot, just being able to just easily hit that thing in there. Is we decide that we got to go for it too early in the point, well before whatever that they're giving us, well before they're actually giving us something that we could just take a high quality swing into what is now a big open part of the court. And so we got to change our practice to that more. And we got to change our practice mindset into I'm going to give this ball a ride, but it's going over much more of the lower part of the net, and it's going much more into the bigger part of the court over there. And I think what I figured out over the last, let's call it 7 to 10 years, is that, and this is something I got from the great Dave Severson, who, by the way, I don't know if he won his match today, but he was playing the semis of the National Hard Courts in Irvine, California. And he always told me, he said, just take the sideline out of it. Whatever your shot choice is to go up the line, take the sideline out of it. Meaning that if the ball's coming cross court to you and you decide to change the angle and go back cross court, take the sideline out of it so that if your timing is a hair late, the ball's still in. If you decide that you're going to flirt with that sideline because you feel like you really need to thread the needle up the line so the guy won't touch the ball and you're a hair late, ball's wide, right? Or on the other hand, if you decide, hey, I'm going to take this ball back cross court, but I got to make sure the guy doesn't touch it over there, and you're a hair early, okay, ball's out, ball's wide. So the reality that I've sort of figured out last, I don't know, like I said, 7, 10 years, is that when I take the sideline out of it and give it some cushion, and I'm late, I couldn't hit it better up the line, thread the needle if I tried to, right? But a lot of the time, the guy just doesn't get the ball. They don't touch it, right? I assume they're going to touch it. That's okay. The words of the great Dick Johnson, I'm going to just pick out a quality target, quality meaning a big part of the court over there. He always said he was going to put a quality swing on it. But he also said that because those guys, and this was in doubles, because those guys are good, I'm assuming the ball's coming back. And that's okay. And we'll just take it from there. So that assumption that the ball is coming back, when you take the Dave Severson, take the sideline out of it, what I found is a lot of the time it doesn't come back. It just doesn't, right? So I'm just spitballing here because I don't have any presentation here in front of me. And let me see if StreamYard is back up and running. And no, it's not. So I think what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to go ahead and reschedule for tomorrow. I think let me check my schedule, make sure that I've got tomorrow available. Got a private coaching session in the morning, so I'm good there. So we could do it again tomorrow. I'll certainly update you and let you know. Guys, if you haven't already signed in, let me know that you're here. I see that we've got, I don't know what that 16 players on right now. A few of you have signed in, but let me know if you're on. If you've got any questions, what's on your mind? We can talk about the topic that we were going to try to talk about today, which is, how do we take that more relaxed, not like, sloppy relaxed, but more focused, where we feel less pressure that if we lose this point, it's going to be fine. How do we take that over to the real deal, to the league, to the tournament, to the more serious practice match? How do we take that over? Is there something that kind of happens to you that you want to describe, something that we might address? I've got a story for you tomorrow, assuming that's when we reschedule it. Heck, you know what? I'm just going to tell you the story now anyway. But when I first got playing, and I played some as a junior, I was terrible. I was horrible as a junior player. I guess because I didn't play very much. I played a lot of baseball as a kid, but one summer I played. I guess with the 14s, and I played some and lost. I had bad draws. Eric Van Dillen, who was 2 years younger, he's probably the best 12-year-old in the country at the time, maybe the 14-year-old. Anyway, I lost love twice, maybe 3 times. I said, screw it, this tennis thing's no fun. Went back to playing baseball. Really didn't pick up playing tournaments until I was probably in my mid-20s. And I had this guy who I practiced with a lot once I decided to start playing a lot more tennis, this guy, Bill Steggy. And he and I would go out to the Berkeley Tennis Club. We'd probably play twice a week. And he was better than I was, and he was already playing some tournaments. And I wasn't yet, but I was just kind of getting back into it. And I could play this guy close. I could play him pretty darn close. I mean, we'd play 10 sets. Maybe I'd win 3. And out of the other 7 that I would lose, okay, I'm losing 7, but they're decently close. I feel like I'm gaining on the guy to where at least it's going to be 50, over, averaging over 10 sets. So this one day, I don't know, it was like on a Tuesday or something. I said, hey, you want to play this weekend? Bill goes, no, I mean, I'm playing, or I guess it was in a couple weekends. Hey, you want to play a couple weekends? And he says, no, I'm playing a tournament out there in Walnut Creek. And I go, oh, and he says, you entered? And I go, no. He says, oh, come on, there's still time to enter. You ought to get in there. And I said, really? He said, oh yeah, man, it'd be great for your game. I went, all right. So I go play. I enter the tournament, and I get out there, and lo and behold, I look at the draw, and who I play first round, Bill Steggy, my buddy from Berkeley. And so we go out there, and I don't know what happened, but I kind of, when I first saw the draw, I went, okay, well, all right. I don't know why but should be fun. I got out there, and during the warm up, I started feeling these nerves and this tension and this anxiety, and like an out of body experience. It was the worst feeling like of all time. And the next thing you know, I got just locked up tighter than the drum, could barely hit a ball. I don't know, lose first set 6-0 in maybe 12, 15 minutes. I'm down. I think it was 3-0, and we're changing sides, and he's going, man, what is going on with you? And I go, man, I got no idea. I mean, I couldn't hit a ball inside the court. Finally, I get beat, mercifully, love. I get out of there. I get in the car, and I look in the mirror, in that rear view mirror, and I look at myself and go, man, what are you going to do here? And the thought was, I could do one of two things, right? I could just say, screw it. I am such a mental midget. There's absolutely no way that I can be a competitive player. All right, fine. I'll go back to Berkeley, and I'll be one of those guys that I see out there who love to just hit the ball, work the ball around the court, but never ever compete. God, well, that doesn't sound like me. I mean, I've been a super competitive sports guy my whole life until then. Or the decision was, you better get your ass back and up there in the saddle right now, and just not put up with this. And so that was kind of the slap in the face that of that feeling of going from practice over to tournaments, league matches, whatever. And for me, I said the only way I can figure this out is I got to look at the tournament schedule, and I've got to enter every stinking tournament that I can get into. And so I would say over the next year, I don't know how many more tournaments I played, but I decided this is going to do it. And so in terms of how it desensitized my nerves, it did. Not totally. If I knew then what I know now more about how to do that, it would have happened faster. But yeah, that's kind of my Bill Steggy story about going from just the nervous thing. I've never been that nervous ever again, I don't think. And just mortified, absolutely mortified that I could find a way to bring these nerves and anxiety and whatever to this different setting against the exact same guy. All right, different venue, but still. And so I just decided I got to play everything I can get myself into. So I did. It helped a little bit, but I would still go out there. I'll never forget this. Maybe a year later, I'm playing. I was over at Sonoma State, above Northern California. I'm playing this tournament over there. I beat this guy 1-1. This guy could barely hold the racket, and I beat him 1-1. And I get back in the car, and I start cramping like crazy. The lower back, the hands, and it wasn't. I mean, maybe an 80-degree day. It wasn't horribly hot like it is out here today. And I'm just going, you're an idiot. I mean, how do you do this? How do you beat a guy 1-1 and you're so locked up beating the guy 1-1, hoping and praying the guy just gives you points that you're just cramping like crazy? And so it was a long process. Let's put it that way. It was a really long process for me. Again, wish I knew then what I know now. And but anyway, look, guys, let me try StreamYard one more time. I see we're starting to drop some players out of here, which is and that's still getting that message, which is upstream something not healthy. Okay, that's pretty obvious. All right, guys. I'll stay on here another couple of minutes if you want. Anything you want to chat about. It could be the topic that we were trying to get to today that I'm going to reschedule for tomorrow at the same time. Anything else on your mind that you want to chat about, let me know. And I'll stay for another minute. If you guys decide there's nothing else you want to tee up, that's fine. And we can just go ahead and go our own ways this afternoon. I apologize. Like I said before, I got over to Twitter to find out maybe there's something going on over there. And sure enough, the Twitter feed is loaded up with, or I should say the search feed over there with StreamYard as the search term is loaded up with people not able to do what we wanted to do today. Same type of thing. Same. Yeah. So we're not alone. All right, guys. Well, listen, thanks for hanging out today. I really appreciate you guys trying to make this work. Thanks, Larry. Yeah, it happens, right? The tech thing, it just happens. And whether or not the whole internet technical thing ever gets figured out 100%, probably not, and that's fine. We're sure lucky. We're sure fortunate to be able to have, what is 99.9% uptime for most of us. This has just changed the game. I remember when I first got into webtennis.com, I got the domain back in 1999, and we didn't have a high speed. We had dial-up, right? We had that nasty little sound going off when you tried to log on, and there was no capability for audio. There was certainly nothing for video. And so you just had to type. It was all text. You had to type what was going on in your mind. And for me, it was more like, well, this is the way that I talk when I'm teaching on the court. So that was what we did for a while. Then as soon as we got high-speed internet access, which was, I don't know, what was that in the early, like maybe 2002, something like that. Can't remember the exact year. Then audio and video became a thing, and that just changed the whole game. It just changed the entire ability to now take in my case, take all of my experiences, all of my knowledge that I'd learned up to that point, and be able to teach online. And did that for a few years before I finally decided, what, if I do this full time, that was in October 2005, nearly 20 years ago. Nearly 20 years ago, I just decided, I can retire from this club business and I can go ahead and do this full time and make a go of it. And a lot of it was I really, at that point, I was 50 plus years old, getting close to 55s. I wanted to really get back into playing some tournaments. I would say too, when I first did get back into playing tournaments back in the early 2000s, yeah, there was some nerves, but I figured it out. And, but look, I've been able to train because of the internet thing. If you can travel anywhere, you can now travel. If you get an internet connection, I can be in business. So it's fortunate for me that this thing came around at that age where it was an opportunity for me to not have to stand on a tennis court feeding balls for the rest of my life. So I feel very, very fortunate with that. All right, guys. Well, look, where are we here? We got a couple more messages. Yes. Let's see. Larry, sounds good. Brent, sorry about the tech. Yeah, no sweat. Giovanni, no problem. Brent, hopefully we can connect tomorrow. Yep. Hopefully I'll keep checking with StreamYard, make sure, and I'm sure they've got some message coming out here pretty soon, along with all the other platforms of what's going on. Ultra Temps, no matter what happens, we'll take it from there. Yes, sir. The great Dick Johnson with that one. Larry's second serve in doubles. Can we talk about that tomorrow? We sure can. Give me your question, Larry. Is there something specific about your second serve that you want to work through, Richard? Hopefully tomorrow works. Anxious to find out what to do when down 0-3 or 1-4. Strategy and tactically challenging. Yeah. Sometimes that's just sometimes you have to accept the reality of the scoring system in tennis, which is it's a good thing. I mean, if it was a time-based thing, and if you're down 0-3 or if you're down 1-4, and now you've only got, let's say, 7 more minutes to be able to catch up, that could be some real stress, right? But but you know, it's just the reality of. I mean, I can't tell you how many matches I've lost the first set and I've been down a break 0-3, or I've been down a break 1-4, and you just sort of, you know, you don't. First of all, you don't panic, and for me, it's more about, okay, well, whatever my plan was on that day, and if it's not working, I'm not gonna. I used to think to myself, I've got to execute my plan even better, even stronger, and it just doesn't work. Just kind of that forcing the plan in. So for me, really, at that point in the match, when I'm down a set and a break, I'm looking to extend the match time as long as I possibly can. Now, for me, what that means initially is I'm not going to think I got to hit first serve aces. I don't think I've got to hit big time returns of serves that don't come back. I don't think that I'm going to squeeze the sideline like we talked about earlier with the Dave Sievertson, take the sideline out of it. I stopped thinking that way, and I just start thinking, can I make this guy hit a lot more tennis balls today? And it just becomes a dogfight. And and I've won, and you can find lots of scores out there where someone loses the first set, they go down a break in the second. It now becomes this long, drawn out dogfight, and you win the second set, let's say 7-5, maybe in a breaker, maybe 6-4, and you breeze your way through the third set because either that guy's gotten physically spent, and or you figured out something that you weren't seeing before as you lost the first set and went down a break. So, it's this thing about a workaround, right? And like I said earlier today, that when we started this live stream, is that most matches are workarounds. Most matches are not this beautiful A+ game that comes out where we're just in this mindless, no thought, no care in the world, no stress zone. I mean, to me, that's just like, it's like selling ice to the Eskimos. I don't think that's going to happen. So that would be my initial way to handle that situation, is to, what can I do to extend time? Well, I'm not talking about pushing, but again, I'm going back to, I'm still hitting I'm bringing high quality swings into way bigger targets. I know he's going to touch the ball, and that's okay. What I used to do is think, I'm down, I got to play better. Don't want him to touch it because it seems like if the ball comes back, that's a problem. No, I want to do just the opposite. I want to make him touch the ball a lot and extend time. And look, the reality for us is we're not on the pro tour, right? So that there's the same kind of mental stress that we might bring, they do too, over on the other side of the net, whether it's singles or doubles. And so sometimes, I've had some matches where I've gone, I just don't think this guy can keep this level going. And I'm looking back, I'm not going to name names, but think about a match I played 7 or 8 years ago in the finals in Berkeley. And I'm playing a guy who's good, and he's on that day, he's got his A+ thing going like there's no tomorrow. And the next thing you know is, I did squeak out the first or second set or whatever. He's now serving at 5-4 in the third. And I just remember, as we're sitting down between him going out and serve 5-4, I just look over there and I can see him just kind of tapping and kind of wanting to get up off the bench and want to get this thing going. And I'm just going, I wonder. And the next thing you know is, he coughed up a double fault or two, missed an easy approach shot. He pretty much breaks himself. I hold easily, and now he's got the stress to stay in the match. Same deal. So look, whatever stress you're feeling, that guy over there is feeling the stress as well. So that's how I would handle that. So Giovanni, one topic for the future: how to play a better player. So what does that mean, a better player? Um, a better player could be someone that on paper is better, right? They've got a higher rating, they've got a higher ranking, um, and and so how do we compete against that guy? Well, I learned a great lesson way back in the 50s. I think not 1950s, but when I was in the 50s age group, played the 50 hard courts in Huntington Beach, California, and I was unseated, but I was sort of I'd taken some tournament time off, work, raise a family, and now I'm kind of back into it. And I was ready to go, and I beat a couple of seeds along the way. It's a full round of 128 back in the days when we had first round 128 draw, and so I now won four matches. Let's see, the 128, 64, 32, 16. I'm into the quarterfinals. And I'm playing Brian Chaney, the great Brian Chaney. And he was like the man back then in the day, totally. And so I just remember thinking in the first set, all I want to do is just kind of see what this level's like. I didn't really have a big plan as to how to go out there and how to beat Brian Chaney, but I wanted to feel, what does he do? And I kind of just assumed that the chances of me winning the match are not all that good. So that kind of helped relax me in terms of what can I feel from this guy today. And the next thing I knew is I just started kind of settling down into not this stress of I've got to play my A+++ game every stinking point. I just allowed him to kind of pull me slowly up to his level. And I didn't get quite up to his level, but I did win the second set. And some of that was because I just hung around, right? I just extended the time of the match. Wasn't really consciously thinking about doing that then, but just hung in there with him. And he made a couple of unforced errors that he normally doesn't. And the next thing you know is I win the second set. Now we take a break, third set. I end up losing the third set 6-3, but it really gave me this belief that, well, I can play at this level. So meaning his level. And so then the question is, well, how do you do that? Do you force your way up there? Do you think that you've got to hit more winners? Do you think you've got to hit more bigger first serves that don't come back? And at the beginning, that's kind of what I thought. I kind of thought, well, maybe that's what happened on that day. And then I finally just came to realize, no, this is all about making such fewer errors that you put pressure on that better player over there for them to have to win points and games and sets on the match, for them to feel like, you know what, this guy's not going to miss. Again, I'm not talking about pushing, but I'm just not talking about that feeling, or I am talking about not having that feeling that, I'm going to have to do something better. I got to play out of my comfort zone here, right? And so if we practice, like I said at the very get-go, if we practice that way, like I got to practice so that someday I go out there against a better player and I've got this A+ game that magically shows up. And I'll guarantee this right now. If you practice high quality swing tech, right? And high quality swing tech does not mean that you're hitting the ball so well, so big that rarely it ever comes back. No, we're going high quality swing tech, which means that it's that part of it is you're not going to miss the shot if you go to a bigger part of the court. And the more often you do that, the longer you keep yourself in a point against the better player, your chances go way up, right? And that's really what we're looking for is, okay, one match is the better player. They're probably going to win that match, but can you close the gap to that player in that match? And if there's no way to really take this jump. I mean, that just, maybe it happens because this guy's having the worst day of his life, or maybe he did something where he, pulls a hammy or something like that. Okay, you get the win, but you also realize, wait a minute, did I play better than the guy today? No. So really, what I would encourage you to do against the better player is to first of all think about what's the reality here. Do I have a game plan that could beat this guy? Right? Am I good enough right now? Even if I could bring my A plus game to bear 80% of the time, are the chances maybe, but probably not. So what are you going to do? Well, to me, it's just I just want to see, okay, can I close the gap? Can I start consistently closing the gap to that skill level? And what you're going to discover along the way is when you do that, you're going to start to get these little epiphanies, these little aha moments of, oh, I see. This guy, this better player in that situation plays this kind of shot. Is it a winner? No. Is it whatever? But he plays it, and God dang it, he seems to win most of those points. You start to kind of get those epiphanies as you close the gap. If you're still this far apart, he might show you that shot, but you're not ready to understand the value of it and understand why it's going to work when you're at this level. He's here. But if you've been closing the gap, over 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, 12 months, and now you're here, then you start to recognize these little nuances that the better player does that you just don't get if there's a big wide gap. So blah blah blah. Let me take a little water thing here. You need one of these. Yes, you do. No, we're going. We got StreamYard is down today. So we're over at YouTube just doing a spur of the moment YouTube live. So Giovanni, good. Thumbs up on that one. Yeah, hope that helped. So God dang it, this is pretty cool. I feel like we're just like I just said to my the other half of the 9 USA National Gold Balls that we have as husband and wife. What's the count now? Let's see. I think it's 3 grass, 3 clay, couple hard courts, or maybe 4 grass. Anyway, it's 9. And every time we win in the finals, not me, it's because of her. Anyway, I am I'm still in California. Yeah, still in the California desert. I'm leaving next Monday for Colorado. We are, as you guys might know, we're building a second home up in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. We're actually about a 35-minute drive south of Steamboat Springs, which is, as you might know, Steamboat's northwest Colorado up by Wyoming. Just unbelievably beautiful part of the country. Certainly beautiful part of the Rockies. But we're building a house up there, and it's been a long haul, but it's going to get done by this Sunday. That's what the mason who's putting the stone in the fireplace tells me. Cleaners come in next week. I'm going to get there. I'm going to leave Monday, spend the night in Utah, Richfield, Utah, along the way, and then I'll be there next Tuesday. But it's getting toasty here in the desert. Like I said earlier, 108 forecast today. This weekend, it's probably 7-8 degrees hotter. Up in the 114, 115 range. So it's a good time to get out of here. But we love it. We're at the Mission Hills Country Club, Rancho Mirage, pretty close to Palm Springs. We've got 10 of the most beautiful grass tennis courts you've ever seen. I know the East Coast has got a lot of grass, but typically in the East Coast, it's pretty spongy and lumpy. You never want the ball to bounce there. Here, the grass courts we've got here are built on top of a sand base. We've got the golf course guys. We have 3 championship golf courses here at Rancho Mirage, and so the golf course guys maintain our grass courts. They are primo. I mean, there's not a bad bounce out there. It's just unbelievable. So, yeah, spoiled here. Get to get off the hard courts, which for me at this age is a big deal. By the way, I don't know. I really haven't mentioned this to you guys yet, but I've had a left knee issue since February. Had some X-rays done after I felt this thing that I've never felt before. My left knee. I'm out with the guys hitting some balls. back in February and felt this thing that obviously that's not good. And saw an orthopedic guy here, took X-rays, and he goes, "Hey man, you got bone on bone in that left knee." I went, "Okay, what do we do?" So he recommended these three hyaluronic acid injections that just didn't really work. And these things work for some people. I don't think they really work that well for active people. I could be wrong. That's just my hunch. So it's been 3.5 months. And so I saw a guy yesterday here in the desert, orthopedic guy who does a lot of knee replacements. And we talked, went back and forth. And I asked him a boatload of questions. He's got a great reputation. He's done a lot of knees, a lot of hips. And so I am tentatively scheduled for October 7th to get a brand new left knee and spend the summer and the fall up there in Steamboat. And I'm fine. I mean, I can still play some tennis. I can play some doubles. Actually play some singles. I've got a big, restrictive knee brace, so I can cover maybe 70% of the court. And the knee's not horrible. It's not. I feel pretty lucky on two accounts. Number one, this is the first thing I've ever had. At 76, when I turned 77 this year, this is the first thing I've ever had. Never had any major surgeries, never ever any major injuries. So I feel fortunate in that. And the second thing is what? I can't remember now. Maybe I need a lobotomy. But I just feel really, really fortunate, and can't remember what the second thing was. But I'm still playing. I'm still playing a little bit. Oh, I know. A lot of guys I've talked to who've had bone on bone. They go, "Oh my God, it was just the worst thing ever. Misery, pain. I had to get the knee drained, do this, do that." And I said, "I don't know, but I don't have any of that. I mean, maybe I don't need it. I don't know." Anyway, but I can still play a little bit. I can't really play 2 days in a row. That's a problem. But I got no problem getting in the gym. I can get on, bike is no problem. The stationary bike's no problem. The cable weight machine, obviously, no problem. So I feel fortunate that way. But anyway, so October 7th is the date. Brand new left knee. Give me a few months. I'll be scissor kicking those overheads. And I'm actually looking forward to it. I mean, I just feel like I got the right attitude for it. I've talked to a lot of other fellow players, the great Jimmy Parker, who's had, a partial and a full, both knees, Les Buck, Dave Skirmahorn, a whole bunch of guys. And they've all said kind of the common thing was, man, wish I'd done this sooner. So I guess the big thing I'm not really excited about is the first couple of weeks I hear just kind of miserable. Not real excited about, the drugs that you got to take for a couple of weeks. But whatever, I'll just do it. So yeah, for me too, it was the injections, the hyaluronic acid injections. Got 3 of those, one a week for, over 3 weeks, I guess. Just didn't work. Just did not work. And I never really figured out. I thought I was going to be putting this real thick gel underneath your kneecap, and somehow magically that was going to help create some separation. And so it was no longer bone on bone. And I guess that's not the deal. So, and I'm not a big fan of cortisone. I had a cortisone injection back in, I guess it was back in March. And no, it was back in January. And on my hip, I had a bursitis on my hip and little bursa sac problem there. Actually, I had taken a fall last winter at the property on some ice up there in Steamboat, landed right in my hip. At the time, it was fine. But then, about a month later, started to really bark. And so I got a cortisone shot in January, and magic, absolutely magic. But I don't know. So better results with blood plasma recycling, but insurance won't cover. Yeah, that's right. That PRP, the platelet deal. So again, I just hear that's a temporary deal, and I'd rather decide. And for me, it's like within my age group now. This is the third year of my age group, right? I've got 2 more years in the 75s, and this is kind of crazy to think about. Geez, perfect, time to get a knee replacement because I'm in my third year of the of the age group to get ready to play the 80s. That number is so big. It's a big stinking number, the 80s, but that's what we do. That's kind of, can't get rid of that competitive thing. Anyway, so I'm getting ready to do it in October so that by the time January comes around, I won't be 100%, but I'll be able to really start to do some training. My fourth year next year, I'll play some events. Won't expect much for results. And then I'll have one more year after that. So I'll really have a couple of good years after this knee replacement. And of course, knowing, then the other knee goes, I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, guys, that's it for me. I see we're quickly dropping players off of the stream here. I don't blame you. We're 46 minutes into it. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and reschedule for tomorrow at do the same time. Yeah, friend replaced both hips, still played tennis. Well, look, I've got guys who've done both knees, and they're as good, if not better. So it's doable. It works. I think the technology now is, the surgeon I talked to yesterday, I asked him about the procedure, and he says, well, here's what we do. It's going to be October 7th, but you got to come in a week earlier, and you got to do a CT scan, because what happens is after the CT scan and before the surgery, you see, actually gets this program, and he puts on these virtual reality goggles, whatever that thing is, and he goes through the whole surgery before he gets to me. And so it's wild. I mean, the technology is crazy. And I think most of the actual surgery is robotic assisted, which is just different. They used to have to cut through the quad muscle and a bunch of tendons and that stuff just to get access to the knee. They don't do that anymore. They make an incision and they just shove everything over out of the way. They get access to the knee, do whatever they have to do, put it back, so that the healing time, my understanding, is a whole lot faster than what it used to be, because you're not having to heal muscles and all that tissue and that kind of stuff. So, all right, someone make me stop. I'm out of here, guys. Fun hanging out in this impromptu setting, but let's go live tomorrow. I'll certainly I'm going to send you an email later today, and I'll send another one tomorrow morning just to remind you that StreamYard is up and running, and we will go from there. All right, guys, get out there, help someone else have a great day. Hopefully we'll see you again tomorrow.